On today's show,
Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Did the Warriors blow it, or did the Thunder straight up snatch it from them?
we'll preview and predict the Eastern Conference Finals, which features Cleveland versus Canada.
And despite already knowing the future, we debate which team we'd most like to see land the number 1 pick.
It's Tuesday, May 17th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast or joining us live on NBA TV, or hey, a little bit later on YouTube, we're happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Millis.
I'm here.
To his right, also here, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over there, starters blog editor, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-yo! TK, what do you got?
Guys, I'm here with the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And the draft lottery is tonight, which means the league recently released a list of the representatives for the 14 teams who will be in attendance. There's some good names on the list: Isaiah Thomas, Jimmy Butler, Willie Cauley-Stein, Devin Booker, some coaches, some execs you'd never heard of. But it brings us to today's question. Who do you want repping your favorite team at tonight's draft lottery? And for the first time in a long while, I've actually got a horse in this race, as the Bulls are back in the lottery for the first time since 2008. This was so long ago that the guy who got the pick for the Bulls, Steve Schoenwald, has since retired from basketball, while the guy who gave it to him, Adam Silver, is now somehow our boss. But the other funny thing is, who are we sending? The league has changed things up a little bit. They put in the Nick Gilbert rule, so it's got to be somebody involved with the team. And funnily enough, back in 2008, current Bulls head coach Fred Hoiberg was there watching as the Bulls got the number 1 pick. So I say send him again. He was accidental good luck the first time around. Maybe he'll be accidental good luck again. But if he does, he's got to bring that Timberwolves bear with him. Otherwise, what's going to happen? But we got to hear from you. Let us know on Twitter. Who do you want repping your favorite team at the lottery tonight? Use #TheStarters. We'll hear from you a little bit later.
Get your tweets in.
Get
All
your
right,
tweets
guys.
in.
On tonight's show, we're going to set up, preview, and predict the Eastern Conference Finals between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors. And we'll have a little more fun, actually, with the NBA draft lottery as well. But first, last night in the Bay, KD, Russell Westbrook, OKC, they rally from 14 points down for the 108-102 victory in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. OKC has now won 3 straight road games against the Warriors and the Spurs. The rest of the NBA won a total of 3 road games against those 2 teams all season. Which brings us, though, to a very special edition of What You Got, the Western Conference Finals edition. Trey presents us with 2 related topics. We determine the better choice. Trey knows the right answer. Trey, what's the first one?
First question is pretty simple. I just need you to tell me what happened last night. Did the Warriors blow it, or did the Thunder take it? What you got?
The Warriors did not play their best basketball. The Thunder continued what they were doing from round 2, but the Warriors didn't look like themselves. I'm not ready to claim the Thunder the Western Conference representative until we see the Warriors play like they should play. The way they were taking some of those shots, it looked like they were up 15, 18, 20 points. The way they were just firing away, it was out of character for them. Way early in the shot clock to do things like this, to not take advantage of Curry against Kanter, it didn't make sense. This was not the Golden State Warriors team that won 73 games. I'm not taking away anything from the Warriors. You want to make me give a hot take here by this question, Warriors blew it or Thunder took it. It's always a combination of 2. But when you got a point guard saying, hey, relax, everybody, they weren't ready to play. I think that's clear, and they're going to be a different team in Game 2.
I actually think the Thunder took it, but they didn't take it in the 4th quarter. They took it in the 3rd quarter when Russell Westbrook basically took over the game. He controlled the tempo for Oklahoma City, shot the ball well, scored a lot of baskets. And then in the 4th quarter, he showed what a true superstar does. And this is what coaches always ask, is to sacrifice, because he was so hot in that 3rd quarter, and he deferred to Kevin Durant in the 4th quarter, who wasn't hitting shots. But at the end, Kevin Durant hit that big shot, the dagger that it wasn't the game winner, it was the game sort of sealer at the end. And that just shows how good Westbrook is and how much he put his ego to the side to say, Kevin, you've been missing all these shots, you're our star, take us home, and that's what he did.
I'm with Lee on this one. If I have to pick the narrative, I think the Thunder straight up took it, and rightfully so. They dominated the glass, which we thought they would do, did a great job there. They stopped turning the ball over, which they were doing in the first half, and that's when the Warriors were up in the lead. The Warriors sort of did come to play. They were up 14. They were looking fine, up 13 at the half, but only 2 turnovers for the Thunder in the second half. That's great. And then you said Russ and Kevin Durant, to some extent, when he hit the big shot late, their superstars hit the shots when they needed them. They took it. They absolutely took it. They continued to play well like they did against the Spurs. It was a big win.
I'd argue the Thunder didn't even play a fantastic game. I think this is two teams
That's
going
right.
back to their locker room and thinking, we didn't play all that well. The Warriors to score 14 points in the fourth quarter. That's not them. The Thunder are very, very good defensively. This is a new basketball team come this postseason.
True.
But they didn't stop the Warriors as much as the Warriors stopped themselves with these quick shots. That's why we just haven't seen the best of each team. And the Warriors, they were down 2-1 last year to the Grizzlies. They were down 2-1 to the Cavaliers in two postseasons. They haven't had that type of adversity quite yet. Well, now they have, and now they will wake up. We just haven't seen the best of
Very
them.
hard to
play.
come
I'm
back.
not saying this series is over
Yeah.
by any means, and I'm not saying I'm picking the Thunder suddenly because they took game one for sure. But we have seen the Warriors do this. But we saw them do it in the regular season. These quick shots, sort of loose play, sloppy. But they usually would win.
They can get
Sometimes
away
they
with it.
didn't.
Yeah.
It bit them in the butt against the Celtics. The Wolves game comes to mind. Those high scoring, they just sort of laissez-faire attitude. But you can't do that in the playoffs. That's why I say the Thunder took it though, because when you're into the Final Four, you're picking up wins. You're going to get it. It's not just handed to you. I mean, it was a tight game, but they outplayed them. The Thunder outplayed them.
And we know how hard it is to come back against Warriors at any time. To do it in Oracle, especially in that second
huge.
half, is huge. So I say the Thunder took it.
Entertaining game.
That's our hot take.
What's the answer, Trey?
Well, I think the Warriors blew it. Like Tess said, they were just going for the home run ball the whole time. They just needed a bowl of patience. But guess what, guys? It's Borgia time!
Oh, boy.
As there were a couple suspect calls in last night's fourth quarter. The first came with about 3 minutes late when Andre Iguodala got fouled while trying to tip dunk a Harrison Barnes miss, only to see Monty McCutcheon whistle Dion Waiters for a non-shooting loose ball foul. Then later, Russell Westbrook got away with an obvious travel as the Thunder were looking to call a timeout with 20 seconds remaining. What's the worst no call? Iggy's non-continuation or Westbrook's travel? What you got?
It's Iggy's, for me.
Really?
What else was he doing up there? He's grabbed the rebound. The
You're just 100% guaranteed he's going to
gonna-
slam it home?
You can see he's...
You've never seen a guy miss a dunk before?
I've seen him miss, but doesn't mean he wasn't trying to do it. He goes up there. Watch what
Fair.
Iggy does here. He's not doing anything other than trying to put the ball back down. He's right underneath the basket. The one with Westbrook for me is some debate because there's so much other action going on. I can understand why the referees missed it.
Well, I'd argue, what do the Warriors want in this scenario? Would they rather have an Iggy dunk, Iggy going to the free throw line for 2 shots, or taking the ball
Not a
out
great
of-
free throw.
Yeah,
shooter.
but
I
he
think
hits the
they'd
big
rather
ones.
take the ball out of bounds.
We know he hits the big ones.
Yeah, he was going to hit 1 out of 2 max. As far as Russell Westbrook goes, you can't call that travel. You can't. It's not called throughout the entire game, right? It's like Jeff Van Gundy says about the hack-a-shack rule. Look, if it's a foul the first 46 minutes, it should be a rule in the last 2 minutes. Well, you don't call that throughout the game. You can't call it there. It's just never called. To me, Steve Kerr's like the national team Spain versus USA, where Spain was really, really asking for the travel call play after play after
Yeah,
play
yeah,
in
I
those
know that.
2008 Olympics. That's a travel. That's a travel. Well, in the NBA, it's not. It really isn't, so you just can't call it.
I think it is Westbrook's the worst no call here. He did slide his feet. It's pretty apparent that he did travel. Joe Borgia, on NBA TV later last night said, yeah, that is a travel technically. But I think it's a bigger reason, or a bigger deal, because look at the time in the game. I mean, Iguodala's no call, that's still with 3 minutes to go. This is a 3-point game when Westbrook is calling the timeout, dragging his feet. If the ball goes to the Warriors, they got a lot of 3-point shooters. It could be a tie game and changes things. And I think it's a bigger deal because we've seen so many scenarios now with the Thunder in last-minute situations here, last-second situations throughout these entire playoffs. The Spurs one with Dion Waiters comes to
Yeah.
mind in Game 2. In Game 5, we had Russell Westbrook, Kawhi trying to wrap him up. That was continued play. I mean, it just keeps benefiting OKC here throughout the playoffs. That's why it's sort of a big
Westbrook
deal.
got a continuation on that one from LaMarcus Aldridge, but they didn't give Iguodala a continuation when he's in the air, the
I get
ball's
it.
in his hand underneath the basket. I mean, again, he's not trying to do anything. His head's looking up. He's trying to put the ball in the basket.
Trey's the only one that knows the right answer. Trey.
Westbrook travel was the worst
there you go.
non-call.
man.
This could have been a buzzer-beating 3-point tie-up. Deprived us of it. Very sad, but moving on, it's only Tuesday. We got an early look at the meme team last night as the Warriors got Runed O'Durn following their Game 1 loss. Ouch! Not to be outdone, Bleacher Report turned Russell Westbrook's travel into a power slide, with Russ showing up everywhere from the London Olympics to a scene from Risky Business. What's the better Game 1 meme? The punch or Westbrook's slide? What you got?
Of course it's the slide. Some fantastic work
Yeah.
by our colleagues at Bleacher Report. Really well done. That's it.
It is.
I mean, let's see it again. That was so good.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Jose Bautista get his ears rattled again. I like this. This is fantastic.
I love
We got
the
David
guy
Aldridge in the back.
Yeah, Kerr reaction is pretty funny.
Yeah, we don't like the violence of the other one.
It's definitely the Westbrook meme here sliding because it's eerily similar, and I think this is what they were sort of thinking, to that Mountain Dew like kickstart what Russell Westbrook commercial. Remember this one where he's got the green suit on? There it is. And he's doing the power slide, power stance. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, the Riddler.
And I think that's what Bleacher Report, was sort of mixing in there. So
I will say though, on the punch one, at first I didn't actually see Westbrook's head. I only saw Curry's head, and I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then I looked and I thought, oh, that's actually Westbrook. Oh, that's actually.
Oh, so you like the photoshopping?
Yeah, I thought the Photoshop was excellent. Actually, that's a great head.
What's the answer, Trey?
The answer is the Westbrook slide, though I will say technically proficient, both of you. Great job.
Good stuff, guys. All right, gotta take a break. Lots more still to come on the show tonight when we return. I can't believe it. The Toronto Raptors are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll preview it and predict it when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Back with the starters, let's turn our attention to the Eastern Conference Finals, which begins tonight. Got the two best teams in the East going at it. Some getting there a little quicker than others. Cavs still a perfect 8-0 in the postseason. The Raps taking all 14 games, going to 2 Game 7s to get there. But here they are, Cavs and Raptors. Let's get to our predictions. Be shocked if anyone has the Raps. Yep, even you. A bunch of C's there, yes, even for the Raptors fans here at the desk. Taz says Cleveland in 5. Lee agrees with that. Trey, he sees a faux
I'm hating right now.
from the Cavs. And I say the Raps take 2, Cavaliers
You
in
mad
6.
about that Heat pick?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm a little mad about that Heat pick, but honestly, I just feel like the Cavs are such a better team, and when one team is clearly better than the other, you should pick a sweep. I'm sorry to the Raptors. I think they'll probably win a game, but I think the Cavs are so much better. They should sweep this series.
Cut his mic. Okay, let's get to a few questions, though, with this series. The first one, because I just said, Cavs have been off for a long time. Do you think rest versus rust could be a factor, at least early in this series? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think the Cavs have too many recent examples to show to the guys that, hey, we could lose this game. The Warriors lost on Monday night. They also went into round 2, 7 days off against the Hawks. Didn't look incredible, although they got the win. And if those don't work, I think LeBron can say, back when I was a young guy in 2009, I was a young whippersnapper. We had a 66-win Cavs team that the Orlando Magic came into our house after 8 days off and stole a win and ended up stealing the entire series. The Magic went to the finals because we weren't ready to play in Game 1. Remember Game 2, you had to have that crazy LeBron leaning to his left shot to win the game. So I think there's just too many recent examples. There's that example. I think they'll be ready.
I actually think this is a good chance for the Raptors to steal the game tonight because rust and rest, the big problem is with rest is that guys do get distracted. Coaches know that you can't replicate game-like conditions. So if you're at home, you're playing your PlayStation or whatever you're doing, you're coming into the gym, it's not the same focus when you're in, game out, and you're in the middle of a series.
I've checked. Playing on a PlayStation, NBA 2K16, not the same as playing
More
in the
importantly,
NBA.
look, the Raptors right now have got to be playing so freely. They've come off the greatest win in franchise history. They're playing well. Lowry and DeRozan are starting to find their groove. When you are playing well, you want to keep playing as much as possible. They had a good record against the Cavaliers as well this season. 2-1.
Does that mean anything?
I'm just saying that's a stat. They have beaten them, so it's not like
The Bulls used to always beat LeBron in the regular season. Always.
I'm just trying to make a case as to why tonight could be their best chance to take a game.
I will back you up here. According to Elias Lee, teams who played a postseason game after a layoff of 8 or more days are 5-6
There you go.
since
It's a lock.
2000.
Lock
So
it in.
some of these teams do struggle after the long layoff. You see here, though, the minutes played, because the Cavs have only played 8 games. LeBron leads them at 310 minutes. Look at the Raptors over LeBron. I think there's another one we don't have it on the board in Biombo that's played over 300-plus minutes. They got a lot of mileage in this postseason.
LeBron will be leading tonight. The 7-day layoff right before the Hawks series, he didn't play his best game. I think he's going to come out and kick some snot out of the Raps.
He hasn't played his best game, but he hasn't needed to either for the Cavs because Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, all these guys are playing really, really good basketball.
So the Raps have no chance.
What hope, though, do the Raptors have here? What needs to sort of go perfectly right for them to win 1-2 or somehow maybe this series? What do you think it is?
A lot. I think Jonas Valanciunas has to come back and dominate. I think they got to be ready to play against that 3-ball because they haven't seen a team this good. I think it's going to be just a real shock that they go into this series. after the Miami Heat that were injured, basically the Heat had their best two bigs banged up against them. And they came out, obviously, 7 games, and they fought through it, and they slogged through it. But the Cleveland Cavaliers seem to have about 6 bigs that can throw at you. And the Heat couldn't shoot the 3-ball at all. While the Cleveland Cavaliers, we know what they did to the Atlanta Hawks. I just think they're in for such a rude awakening right off the bat. And that's why they're not going to steal game 1, because the Heat didn't move the basketball for halves at a time. And that's not hyperbole. That's what happened. The Cavs are going to move it the first possession, the second possession, the third possession. They're going to have more assists than the Heat had in some halves in the first 6 minutes, I think. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, but let's not discount the way that Lowry and DeRozan are coming into this series. And
They are.
Lowry said today he feels 100%, even though he's had 6 more games in the entire Cavs. And it's probably needed. He's needed those games to get that rust off him, because he was pretty ordinary in the first round and didn't even shoot the ball all that well in the early stages of the second round. But again, sometimes it's not about how you're playing, it's when you're playing well. And those guys have got no reason to not feel at least confident that they can go out there and just give it their best. They're playing with house money right now. That's a good way to be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you though. With they need the Cavs to just stop hitting the 3-pointers, because they are shooting 42% of their shots this postseason have been 3-point attempts, and they're hitting them at a 46% clip.
Yeah.
The Raptors are also not good at defending the 3-point shot throughout the regular season, so they just gotta pray and hope that at least in a couple of these games they struggle, and which could happen.
Yeah.
Any of these shooters on the Cavs. All right, finally, we've got to talk about LeBron here. How do the Raptors go about defending LeBron James? What do you think?
Well, DeMar Carroll has to be fantastic. But I don't think we're even talking enough about LeBron James, because half of his shots are coming at the rim. We need somebody who does some real numbers around here to look at. A wing player in the postseason, 1 every 2 shots comes at the rim.
You calling out John Schumann?
Yeah, Shoeman,
Yeah.
where are you at?
You just threw shade at John Schumann.
The NBA.com stats module doesn't work for me well enough. This is a hard stat to find. 1 out of every 2 shots, this guy is taking it right at the rim. So DeMar Carroll, who guards him fairly well when you look at the numbers, has to be huge. But Bismack Biyombo has to be ready behind him. Then they got to cover the 3-point shooters.
I almost feel like don't even help off of LeBron. Just let him try and score 60 points a night. That way you don't get killed by threes.
That is the way I think they should defend, because if you open up any of those corners to JR, Kevin Love, or Kyrie Irving, they're probably going to hit the
They're
3.
sort of automatic
Yeah.
right now. That's true. We will see. Again, Raptors, Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals. Fun to say. Starts tonight. Got to take a break. When we come back, we'll look to the past to tell you about the future. More NBA draft fun when we return. Back with the starters, we asked you earlier, who do you want repping your favorite team at tonight's draft lottery? Told you to hit us up on Twitter, #thestarters. Trey has a few of the best answers.
Yeah, Don says, it doesn't matter. Actually, no one. The Knicks have no draft picks. Gotta be sad being a Knicks fan sometimes. Jay says, I'm a Laker fan. I'm mad they're not sending Kobe to the draft lottery. Would be a great visual, seeing him there just seething at all the losses. But the best answer comes from Cheechers, who says, Andrea Bargnani got the Raps the pick. Would be nice for him to represent the Raps. Bring him back, #1 pick. Must be good luck.
All right, keep those tweets coming. Well, if you didn't see yesterday's show, there's actually no real reason to watch tonight's NBA draft lottery, because we already know who wins the #1 overall pick. Let's have a look. We have 1,000 ballots representative of each team's odds to land the #1 pick. They're at Tass's feet right now, but they won't be there for long, because let's fire up
Let's do it.
the money win machine, whatever you call this contraption.
We've got a budget
Take
this
a
year.
good one, Tassie.
Let's get this thing going. Hopefully it's plugged in.
Has it started yet?
No, not yet.
here
It takes a
Pick a ball.
How's it feeling there?
It feels like I'm exfoliating my skin.
Take your shirt off. Go.
All right.
All right, grab one.
Let's go, Tassie. Come on, Tassie.
Okay.
All right.
I've got one.
He's gonna turn the power up. Turn the power. Turn the power up.
Start the machine.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Here we are.
Okay.
I'm going to look at it first.
Very exciting.
The winner of the 2016 NBA Draft Lottery tomorrow will be the Philadelphia 76ers! This one's for you, Sam Higgins!
Trust the process. Trust the process. All right, so there it is. We have predicted that the Sixers will win the draft lottery tonight. Hey, hey, it sort of makes sense. The 76ers have the best chance of the #1 overall pick, 25%, followed by the Lakers at 19.9%, and the Celtics, with that pick coming by way of the Nets, at 15.6%.
The Sixers also have those king ballots in
That's
there as well. If
right.
the Kings win it, a little
That's
pick swap.
There's a whole lot of pick swaps in the mix here tonight. It's going to be an interesting night. But so we know the Sixers are going to win. But let's ask a different question. Who do you actually hope wins tonight's NBA draft lottery? For whatever reason you want, who would you like to see come away with the #1 pick?
I want those Sixers to win.
Oh, you just want to look smart.
Yes, but also, we think of them as so bad recently, but they haven't gotten the #1 pick. They haven't had the luck
Yeah.
on their side, and I don't think they've drafted all that poorly like people think. Yeah, they drafted Nerlens Noel at 6. That wasn't a bad pick. Joel Embiid, the most talented at #3, although he's been hurt. Dario Saric, we don't know how great he's going to be. And Jahlil Okafor, yeah, at #3 last year, maybe you could have picked Porzingis, but people didn't really think all that much of Porzingis. I do think that Sam Hinkie gets ripped a lot for his draft history. Hasn't been that bad, and a little luck on the side. And then a great conversation begins about Sam Hinkie and the process and who was better, him or Colangelo. Good luck to Colangelo. Good luck to the Sixers. I kind of hope they win.
The
They should've
Sixers
sent
could
you there.
actually get the #1 pick and the #4 pick if things go their way tonight. So,
Yeah, 'cause they have the-
okay, so
the
you
Lakers pick,
stick
yeah.
with the Sixers. What about you, Lee? Who you want?
I'm pulling for the Celtics because their pick is from Brooklyn and it's coming over from the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade about 1,000,000 years ago. It's just a gift that keeps on giving, really, for
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
Celtics. It's unprotected. That's part of the deal. And we knew at the time Brooklyn making that move was pretty short-sighted, and now we're really seeing the fruits of that deal from Danny Ainge. And it's not just me who's actually going for them. They've also got some help through former Celtic, Kenny Anderson, who's saying good luck at the NBA lottery, and he's got a cigar out on the Tuesday.
Kenny Anderson also played for the Nets.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, so we can't
People
lose
don't
it.
necessarily think of him as
Okay.
a Celtic, I would say.
Yeah.
He played
I
for the
do when
New
he's wearing a
Jersey Nets.
Celtics jersey.
A real Red Auerbach throwback right there.
I hope the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'd like to see a third potential star
Wow.
there to pair with obviously Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. It'd be sort of similar to the old Sonic/Thunder there
yeah.
with your KD, Russ, and Harden. But we will see draft lottery tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We got to take one more break. When we return, Lee's very solid play. Lee, who gets the very solid play of the night?
Actually, both teams get it last
What?
night. Yeah, check out this miss here from Kevin Durant. And Haribo actually starts it off there. Steven Adams, Ennis, fizzes around the perimeter, ends with Randy Foye. He knocks it in. That's beautiful. That's what I call a very solid play.
Wow, all 5 Thunder touching it, and Harry
Last one,
Barnes.
yeah.
As you call him. All right,
Harry
guys, that's
Barnes.
it for us. Enjoy the game tonight. Raps, Cavs, back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Haribo makes some great candies.
Race tonight, people.